welcome back to the BJX 70 show. I'm your host, Brandon Jackson, and we have a lot to get to. But before we get to all of it, since you're here, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the community, join the family, join the join the bandwagon of Brandon's bets. Currently 2-2 this week. I'm recording early. I don't know what has happened in the Steelers and Dolphins game. So 2-2 pending that result. But like I said, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and it's growing. It's growing. We're keeping it going. But we're gonna just jump right into recapping Brandon's bets because we got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into, a lot to cover. So let's just get right into it. Had the Bills minus 1.5 at the New England Patriots. That hit. I told y'all Buffalo was going to have something to say about New England trying to win the division, trying to clinch it. I told y'all they was going to have something to say. And Buffalo, they was down. They were down. They were down a little bit bad. I was nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. I was nervous when I was watching this. But Josh Allen, Buffalo, they got up off the floor and they said, all right, little brother, y'all still got some work to do. And they put it in the overdrive. Patriots couldn't get anything going again. Josh Allen making plays, throwing the football. James Cook scoring touchdowns every week. Like nobody's business. One of the best running backs in the game right now, James Cook, getting after it. All I can say is I told you the Bills weren't going to go out lightly. Didn't matter that they were on the road. Like they are a contending team, a perennial contender in the AFC. Even if they haven't gotten to the Super Bowl, but they're always in the mix. A lot of people are talking Josh Allen MVP. I don't agree. I think that's Matthew Stafford's award. I don't think it's Josh Allen's to win or even really to compete for because he's shown flashes. He has not been great all season. So chill with the MVP talk. I'm not giving it to Josh. Not giving it to Dre. That's Matthew Stafford's award until further notice. If that changes, we'll talk about it. But until further notice, that's him. Next up, had the Bengals plus 2.5 against the Ravens. Joe Burrow, man. It didn't look great. He had nothing going, no rhythm. Bengals looked like they didn't have any fight left. He's not having fun. He was not out there having fun at all. We'll talk a little bit more about the Bengals later, but shout out to the Ravens. Got a win where they needed it. If they want to get into the playoffs, they have to win the division. And I don't know if Baltimore is going to be able to win the division because they have the Patriots coming up. They have their last game is against the Steelers, and I didn't write it down, but I was looking earlier. Who do they play? They play another team. They play another contending team. 1 second, my bad. Ravens. Yeah, who y'all play? Oh yeah, the Packers. They go Patriots, Packers, Steelers. They have to win. They pretty much have to win all three if they want to. If they win all three, they will be in because they will be they'll be 10-7. They'll have beaten the Steelers, and then the Steelers on the other side. Steelers on the other side. Yeah, we don't know what's happening. Yeah, we don't know what happens tonight. So actually, even if they do win all three, yeah, I don't know what the tiebreaker is. So let's say they win tonight because I bet on that. They play the Lions. I don't think they're going to beat the Lions next week. Um, yeah, either way, if the Steelers and the Ravens, handle their business like they're supposed to, week 18, this game probably going to be Sunday Night Football for the division. And whoever wins the division. Whoever loses is out. That seems like what it's shaping up to be. Basically, a playoff game, a playoff preview game. Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers hopefully going nuclear if it happens that way. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But Ravens got a win that they needed. We'll see what they do, see how it goes. Lamar does not look healthy. I was saying some of the sacks that he took are not sacks that he normally takes. Something's not right. Something's going on. We don't really know, and that feels like something that we won't have a real clarity on until the off season. So, but yeah, that was a long way of saying that bet didn't hit. Next up, the Chargers plus 5.5 at the Chiefs. This was a good bet all day, cashing all day. Chargers won outright, like I thought they probably would. But the big story, obviously, coming out of that game, Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL. The Chiefs are eliminated from playoff contention. The run, it was a hell of a run. But my God, when it comes to an end, it comes to an end. In emphatic fashion, Mahomes out for the rest of the year. We'll see how he recovers and when he'll be able to play in 2026. Lost that game, out of playoff contention for good for 2025. I mean, it was like this. It was like this all year with the Chiefs. They never got into a rhythm. They never really got flowing. There might have been like one or two offensive showings that you look and say like, oh wow, yeah, that looks like Patrick Mahomes. That looks like the Chiefs that we know and love or hate, because a lot of people hate the Chiefs and are celebrating their downfall. But yeah, we only saw that team one or two times. The rest of the year, it was inconsistency, defensive lapses, offensive lulls. They were never 100% in sync as a team, offense, defense, special teams. Harrison Butker missed a bunch of kicks. It was not a good looking team, not great. But the only belief you had in the Chiefs were Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, channeling the magic, seeing if they could get in the playoffs, and then anything could happen. But that obviously won't happen. Mahomes, you hate to see any player in the NFL get injured. I don't know. I don't care who it is, what happens, what the circumstances are. I personally never always hate to see somebody get injured. And especially if it's somebody that I'm a real fan of, that I really like to watch play. That was sad to see that. But on the other side, Chargers, they won. Seemingly, they will be in the playoffs, barring a crazy collapse. And even if they lose all of these other games, I don't know. I really don't know if they can fall out depending on tiebreakers and who wins and who does other things, but seemingly they'll be in. Also, seemingly seems like Chargers can't win the division either, because the Broncos keep winning, and we'll segue right into that because I have the Packers -2.5 at the Broncos. I keep underestimating this Broncos team and Bo Nix. They're beating good teams. Are the Packers? Packers are a good team. Are they a great team? I don't know. I'll talk about that in a sec. But on the Broncos, Bo Nix, he's growing right before our eyes. He's playing very well. He's making some throws I didn't think he can make. He's making some excellent reads and passes. So got to shout out him. You know, I've talked shit about him. I will give credit. I am nothing more. I am nothing if not fair. I will give credit when it's due when I see it on the field. And I have to give Bo Nix credit. He has been playing very well, especially yesterday. They barely got a running game going. RJ Harvey scored a touchdown, but like every time I saw a play being made, it was Bo Nix throwing the football. So have to shout him out. On the other side, Packers, the huge story for them is they also lost probably their best player on their team. Micah Parsons went down, torn ACL. Obviously, hate to see that, don't want to see that. What does the rest of the year look like for them on defense? They were a good defense without Micah. They were trending to be a great, maybe elite defense with Micah Parsons. But the whole team is inconsistent. They have flashes of greatness, flashes of elite, but they can't always put it together. This Packers team is not consistent enough to bet on to win deep into the playoffs. Like, if they play their best, if they bring their A game can beat anybody in football. But it's just a matter of if they can bring that consistently week in and week out. And I don't know if they can do that. And it starts with Jordan Love. Jordan Love was on fire. Jordan Love torched me specifically, whether it be the bets or whether it be in fantasy football. Jordan Love was torching me. And of course, I go back and I bet on him this week. And, you know, he was fine. He wasn't aggressively bad, but when the plays need to be made in the fourth quarter, they weren't made. And the Packers had several shots at the end of this game to, you know, they would have had to score a touchdown, get a 2-point field goal or 2-point conversion and go into overtime to try to win. But they had several shots at doing that in the fourth quarter, and they just didn't get it done. So that's on Jordan Love. That's on Matt LaFleur. That's on the offense. That's on the defense. Like, it's a whole team effort when it comes to the Packers. And I'm interested to see what they look like going forward because that Bears team is really good. Can speak from firsthand experience. The Bears team is good. They're playing well. I don't know what's going to happen with these Packers, but it'll be interesting to see moving forward. Yeah, so that was the four that have happened. The Steelers and Dolphins haven't happened yet. I got Steelers -3. Hopefully they pull it out and it'll be a 3-2 week for me. But right now, 2-2. I'm 43-31 against the spread so far through the year, pending tonight. And yeah, so that's all. That's Brandon's bet so far. I'm thinking about the next episode of Brandon's Bets for week 16. I'm looking at the slate. I'm going back and forth on the Thursday night football game. Rams at the Seahawks. Rams are -1.5. I'm thinking about it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've already bet it. I don't know if I'm gonna make it an official bet. I'm thinking about it. just want to let you guys know if I do add it to the official Brandon's Bets five games of the week, I will let you know by Wednesday. There will be a video on the channel by Wednesday. I'll put it on Instagram. I'll put it on Twitter, TikTok. So if you follow me, you will see it. You will see it if I post it that I'm taking it before, that I'm taking it on Thursday. If you don't see it, if you're subscribed and you don't see it, that means I didn't do it. So trust me, you will know if I bet that game or not. I will let you know. I'm still deciding. I like the slate. I like a few games coming up this week. So we'll see if I go ahead and do it. But just want to put that on your guys' radar. But let's get into the rest of Takeaway Tuesday. And my takeaway from this week in the NFL is several coaches that aren't fired yet either are going to be or need to be relieved of their duties, if not soon, but as soon as the season is over. And number one, I'm starting with Kevin Stefanski. And it wasn't necessarily anything that happened on Sunday against the Bears that makes me feel this way. It's just, it's time. It's time. There's been 2 good years. The offense is atrocious. Quarterback be damned. The offensive line can't run block. Offensive line can't pass block. When the receivers do get open, they hand the ball to the other team, or they're not getting open. Except, shout out Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond made some plays on Sunday. He's looking better. He's becoming a fully functioning wide receiver, so I appreciate that growth. Got to remember he's still a rookie too. He was undrafted for reasons that you can look up the reasons, but he was undrafted. But he was somebody that was draftable talent wise. But he's still a rookie. Came in late, but he's showing a little bit of growth, so I can appreciate that. As far as the quarterback is concerned, Shedeur Sanders, he once again showed flashes of quarterback play that not a lot of guys can make the plays that he made. But then on the flip side, there were some very poor decisions, some very poor interceptions that he did throw. Like two of the 3 interceptions were really bad reads and bad decisions that, he threw the ball and they got picked off. There was another ball. It was a curl route he threw. It didn't get picked off. He got lucky. So you don't like to see that, but those are there. Like, those mistakes are still there. And I am acknowledging that. But on the other hand, the throw that he threw to Jerry Jeudy that hit him in the chest, hit him in the hands, that Jeudy didn't bring in, that ended up an interception. Those are the type of throws that not everybody that plays quarterback in the NFL can make. A couple of times he's standing in the pocket. He can't step forward, step into the throw. It's just all arm. He's throwing the ball deep down to Isaiah Bond getting behind the defense. There was one that I wish, the game was still sort of in hand, that he missed to Isaiah Bond, but it either got caught up in the wind. Isaiah Bond didn't know where the ball was going. I don't know what was at fault or who was at fault on that one, but I really wish that one could have got completed. But you can, again, it's a matter of perspective. you can see the talent flash on the screen. And if you want to look at that and you want to go with that glass half full, you can do that. But on the other side, you can see him hold the ball trying to make a play on third down too long. You can see the interceptions. If you want to look at the analytics, the EPA per play and the CPOE and those stats, I don't like to get into those because I just watch the game. I consider myself a football guy. I think I could just watch the game and know what I'm looking at, but he's last in all those analytics. But if you go something like yards per completion, yards per attempt, he's at the top of those, like the old caveman stats. But yeah, if you watch the game, you can see the highs and you can see the lows. We still have to acknowledge this is his fourth start in the NFL after not being featured in the offense all season long, basically getting thrust into duty. So again, you can look at it glass half full, you can look at it glass half empty in regards to Shedeur Sanders. At this point, I don't really want to talk about it anymore because you're either you're on either side. You're on either side. You want him to be the quarterback. You don't want him to be the quarterback. You want them to take Mendoza or Dante Moore. And all I ask, it seems that the Browns are going to finish with a high enough pick to draft one of the quarterbacks that comes out in the draft. All I ask is that if you go ahead and take that first round quarterback, just trade Shedeur Sanders. Just trade him. That's all I ask. Because I personally can't deal with him going into a competition, him being the backup to a rookie next year, and all the focus being on that. I'd rather just let him go somewhere else and let the chips fall where they may. Just get him off the team. Keep Dylan as the backup. Whatever you want to do, because I don't expect much out of these Cleveland Browns. I never have, and damn near never will. So if that's what you want to do, if that's the path that you want to go down, I just beg, please don't keep him around, because it's not gonna help anybody. It's not gonna help Mendoza or Dante Moore. It's not gonna help Shedeur. It's not gonna help whoever the head coach is. It's not gonna help Andrew Berry. It's not gonna help the media. It's not gonna help the fans. It's literally not gonna help anybody. It's not gonna help Shedeur. It's not gonna help anybody if you keep him around in that situation. So all I ask, maybe he's shown enough for somebody to want him to play quarterback for them at a cheap price. Maybe somebody sees the vision. If that's not the Browns, so be it. Hopefully somebody does. If nobody does, fine. That's fine too. But please don't let him come into 2026 on the roster trying to beat out Fernando Mendoza, because it's you want to talk about not having a fair fight. It'll never be a fair fight if you got to go up against the damn number 2 overall pick in camp. It'll never be a fair fight. So again, this all comes back to Kevin Stefanski, Cleveland Browns head coach. It's time to go. If you are so bad as a head coach in the NFL that people legitimately think that you're sabotaging your quarterback, even though he's not, it's preposterous to think that he's sabotaging the quarterback of his football team. And I will never understand people that actually think that way. Even though that would never be the case. The fact that people can gather evidence to support their claim shows how bad of a coach you are or have become, because you weren't this bad. Kevin Stefanski was not this bad of a coach. He's won 2 Coach of the Year awards. I think he's a good coach. I think he's good. He's been good at points schematically, but it's run its course in Cleveland. There's no way you can sell the fan base on him in 2026. And I mean, I guess you don't have to care. I mean, you want to sell tickets to fill the stadium, but like if you really don't care about what the fans think, then you could bring him back if you want to, but I don't think that's a good idea. It won't it won't help matters if you bring him back. But that's all I'm gonna say about the Browns and Kevin Stefanski in this video. I know I talked a lot about it, but I'm really growing tired of every week talking about Kevin Stefanski sabotaging Shedeur Sanders. Is he the guy? Is he not the guy? You can see whatever you want to see in the situation. So that's for you, the viewer, the audience, to figure out how you feel about it. But I'm moving on from that. More coaches that need to be fired. Zac Taylor. You're only still here because you guys went to a Super Bowl in 2021. The only reason you guys are still there, Zac Taylor. And I don't even necessarily know if it's your fault. But that was a pathetic showing yesterday. The defense, I don't know if Zac Taylor has any say on defensive personnel or who they draft, but as the head coach, you're gonna take the brunt of the blame when the product looks like what it looks like. And the defense is bad. Did they get shut out yesterday? Did they get completely shut out yesterday? Yeah, they scored 0 points in a division game when they're trying to they still mathematically had a shot to win the division. They mathematically had a shot, and they came out and they got goose-egged. It's time, sometimes you just need a new voice. A lot of times you need a new voice, and Zac Taylor, it's time to go. People didn't know if you were that good to begin with, and that Super Bowl appearance really held some weight. But it's not doing it anymore. You got to go. You don't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here, my guy. Arizona Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon. It's still early. I don't think he's going to get fired. But they're going to run it. They're going to probably run him back next year with a new quarterback. Kyler's out of there. The Cardinals had been in a lot of games and never won any of them, but at some point you gotta win some of these. You gotta look better than you do. You were in some close games, but lately you've been getting blown out, and it's not been pretty. Jacoby Brissett has done fine in Kyler's absence, but you got one more year. Your seat will be warm going into 2026, but I wouldn't be shocked and I wouldn't be mad if they did pull the trigger on firing Jonathan Gannon. Falcons, Raheem Morris, my dude. And I know they just beat the Bucs on Thursday. But this team is underachieved. I don't know, again, I don't know who makes the decisions, but y'all brought Michael Penix in. Michael Penix was not playing well before he tore his ACL. And the fact, you guys brought in Kirk, drafted Michael Penix, knowing Michael Penix's injury history. I don't know who was at fault, but again, the head coach is you gotta answer for a lot of things. Maybe some things that you weren't all the way part of. This team is underachieved. This team expected to make the playoffs. They traded their first round pick away. They gave it to the Rams, who might win the Super Bowl. So, not a great look there. The team is up 1 week, down 1 week, up 1 week, down 1 week. They were up this week. They beat the Bucks. And it is what it is. You again, this is another one like Jonathan Gannon. They might run it back in 2026, but I wouldn't be shocked or mad if they got rid of Raheem Morris. And speaking of the Bucks, Todd Bowles. If the Bucks don't make the playoffs, if they don't win the division, because winning the division is probably their only way in. If they don't make the playoffs, boy, you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. And I'm not even saying he's a bad coach. I think he's a very good coach. He's a very good defensive mind. And you could even say it's unfair because of the injuries that the Buccaneers had to go through, have gone through, and are dealing with in 2025. But you can't lose that game to Atlanta. You just can't. You just can't. You had Baker Mayfield throws the pick when they're up 8. You let Atlanta score, and it's 26-28. You let them score. They don't get the 2-point conversion. They don't tie it up. It's 26-28. You get the ball back. You have to end the game there. You have to end the game there. Okay, you don't. You punt it. And then you give it to Kirk Cousins on the other side. You give it to Kirk Cousins that can't move. I don't know. I don't know whose mobility is worse, Kirk Cousins or Phillip Rivers that we saw on Sunday. Give it to Kirk Cousins. You let him walk you down, and you lose at the gun on a field goal. 29-28 ball game. That can't happen. You're trying to win a division. This is late in the year. You're trying to go to the playoffs. Can't happen. So if you don't make the playoffs, you're gone. You're gone, brother. And then the last two are intertwined. And it's another division race. The AFC North, man. AFC North could have 3 or 4 new head coaches in 2026. Wouldn't shock me. But if whoever doesn't make the playoffs out of the Ravens and the Steelers feels like their head coach is looking for new employment. And for both of these guys, you can say no, they've earned the right to keep their jobs and whatever you want to say. Mike Tomlin, people are getting tired of Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, it seems like. And again, it's just another one of those situations where you might just need a new voice. I have nothing bad to say about Mike Tomlin. I love him as a guy. I love him as a head coach, but they've been perennially in this same situation for a long time. Looking for a quarterback of the future, being 500 or near 500, well, being over 500 and barely making or missing the playoffs either way. They haven't been above that level since I couldn't even tell you when. Obviously, Ben Roethlisberger was still the quarterback whenever that happened. Antonio Brown might have still been on the roster, but even then, they were over 500, making the playoffs and winning, maybe winning one and losing in the next round. Maybe. So I think you just need somebody new, even if you want to say, hey, Mike, we promote you to president of or vice president of football operations or something like that. If you don't want to fire him, just promote him to the front office, get a new voice in there, like Brad Stevens in the Boston Celtics. You can do it like that. Because I know, Mike Tomlin is a very good head coach, but I think it's just time you got to get some new blood in there. And then on the other hand, John Harbaugh, I always bring this up. I bring this stat up. No quarterback and head coach combination. The head coach with the quarterback together on a team, if they don't win a Super Bowl together within their first 5 years together, they won't win one. And that is a stat that is verified. Every head coach and quarterback combination that has won a Super Bowl has done it within their first 5 years together. I think this is year 7 or 8 for Lamar and John Harbaugh. Seems like one of them got to go, and it's not going to be Lamar. Again, that's another, we'll promote you to front office, VP of president operations, president of whatever. But it seems like there needs to be a new voice leading the guys in the locker room. And again, I'm going to keep saying it, these guys aren't bad coaches, but you need new voices. You need a new message. You need new life. You need a spark. You need something different. And for the Ravens especially, it feels like they definitely need something new because there's something in that locker room that we don't know about. And maybe, and we'll see how they end up finishing the year. But I think either way, because I don't see Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl. So I think either way, you step to John Harbaugh and it's like, hey, we got a spot for you upstairs. We got a spot for you upstairs. Go ahead and take it. And this won't get messy. We won't, we won't have to divorce in public, but we got this seat up here for you upstairs. So please take it. So that's really my takeaway from this week. I gave you my thoughts on the Packers, on the Chiefs, on Kevin Stefanski, on the Bills. Like I said, I'm recording this early. We'll see what happens with the Steelers and the Dolphins. Hopefully, Steelers can cover that -3. Give me a 3-2 week. Programming note. Later this week, I'm hoping to have a guest. Hoping to have my first guest on the podcast. Because I didn't talk about Philip Rivers. You probably noticed that I didn't talk about Philip Rivers, his old ass coming out of retirement, playing for the Colts against the Seahawks. He will start for the Colts on Monday Night Football. Didn't talk about him because I am hoping to talk about that with my guest later in the week. So be on the lookout for that. That will drop on the channel. I don't know if it'll be in the Brandon's Bets video dropping on Friday or if it'll be just a separate own thing. Might be, might not be. I don't know yet, but hoping to, talk about that, discuss that with my guest later in the week. But hey, appreciate you watching. Appreciate you being here. Once again, if you keep hearing me say it and you haven't done it yet and you're still here, stop what you're doing. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm better than your favorite better. Join the family, join the community. Let's keep the party going. And until next time, I'll see you.